we're back. Thank you for being with us. Okay, Aaron, let's pick this up. Did you want to talk about some more benefits? We're here talking about small church ministry, and we've been talking about the advantages and also some of the challenges. And our brother Aaron Stogner from Snoqualmie Bible Church, or
Snoqualmie
Valley Bible Church, right?
Yep.
In Seattle, has been sharing with us a little bit. And where'd you want to pick this up?
We could go unless you wanted to just repeat the benefits. We could go straight to the question about should we want churches to grow numerically.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, just a quick recap of the benefits. You're able to get to know people better. It's more simple.
It's intimate.
It's intimate. There's less pieces to the puzzle. It's a little more simple, a little more straightforward.
Yeah, lesser accountability before the Lord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good one. And so, they can go back and listen to all that. I'm really happy with this conversation so far. I think this is going to be a great episode. It already has been. With that said, though, Aaron, talking about the benefits of small churches, here's I think, a good question. With all this said, both advantages and disadvantages, should we want our smaller churches to grow numerically? And if yes, why? So what I'm trying to get at, is it okay we know, and I do stress this, and it's important, we don't just want numerical growth, we want spiritual growth in the people that are here. That's huge. That's just as important. But is it wrong to want to grow in numbers? And I don't think it is, but it all depends on the motive. But I'm going to let you answer the question. Is it okay to want to grow numerically? And if yes, why? Numerically, and if yes, why?
Yeah, I think it is certainly okay, and I think we should want our churches to grow numerically. There is, I want to say it was Vader's. He talks about an unfortunate trend that small churches, maybe larger churches as well, but there tends to only be a concern for church growth once the church is in decline. And you have to ask, why is that the case? I would say, if you look under the hood and you do some probing, you probably just want to maintain the status quo, and so you're only concerned with getting more people in so that you could kind of return to a comfortable normal. We should have a desire, and we should be praying for church growth all the time. But like you let the cat out of the bag, Sam. It is a good desire that can unfortunately be done with wrong motives. Why do you want growth? Do you, as a pastor, do you want growth because that's numerical growth has been the primary indication or sign that you're succeeding?
Right. Do I want to validate my ministry?
Yeah.
That's easy and dangerous temptation.
I don't really recall hearing this a lot at ShepCon, but do you know what pastors have normally said is the most stated question at at pastors' conferences and get-togethers? How big's your church? Yeah. That is unfortunately an assumption that you're succeeding if you have a big church.
And it's probably not
No,
always meant maliciously. It could just be a curious
no,
question, but yeah,
no, but there, we have a way of revealing presuppositions by the questions we ask and or assumptions that we have. So um, anyway, absolutely, we should want our smaller churches to grow numerically. Um, I would say, Matthew 13 uh, or Mark chapter 4. Jesus equates or parallels the spread of the gospel with a farmer who's sowing seeds, and the end result, the praiseworthy and desirable outcome was the seed that fell on the good ground and yielded a massive harvest. And that's the interpretation of that is the spread and increase of those who are hearing the word and understanding it. And I think we should see just as anyone in that age, in that agrarian society where you can't just go and buy you can't go to the local Walmart and get a year's worth of food in a single trip like you
right.
can today. Who in that who wouldn't want a hundredfold harvest yielding? Everyone would have wanted that, and so I think if we are to understand that good harvest as being those who are hearing and believing and growing in the Word, we should likewise want to see an increase in the spread and maturation of the gospel in people. Um, 1 Corinthians 12, where Paul talks about the body, the corporate body, and, and I think the local body. He talks about the way we're all put into the local body. Just as we want to see people grow and mature physically. Think of like an athlete. Who is I'm about to betray my horrible knowledge of sports stuff, but picture a triathlete or somebody, an Olympian running, and you see all the muscles uh, being utilized, muscles that I don't even know if I have those muscles, but and you think about the heart that is pumping oxygenated blood to those muscles, and you think about the nervous system that's regulating the heart and all these muscles, and the lungs that are breathing in air, providing oxygen to the blood, and all you get this image of a mature body that is doing an amazing thing, right? That's something that captivates us, and we look at that and we're like, oh, that's good. I want to, in the same way, I want to look at the church, and I want to see I want to see Christ building His church, and I want to see Him putting in people who are making these great contributions, and per Ephesians 4, the body is growing up. It's growing up in love. It's growing up in the knowledge of its head. It's People are maturing. They're contributing. They're serving. Um, they're being sanctified. Like I want to see. I hope that didn't go into rambling territory.
No, that's good. We want to see people come to Christ and baptized and brought into the part of our church family, and then we want to see them grow spiritually. And another question we could ask each other when we get together at ShepCon is another good question I might suggest, if anyone's listening, is how are the people at your church, how is their relationship to the Lord? How are they
Yeah,
growing spiritually? Because that's
yeah,
important too. But yes, it's good to want to grow, and we should want to grow. um, we should want to see people come to Christ. And just because sometimes the wrong motives might try to creep in, we just have to be aware of that. We have to fight that and ask God to keep our motives pure.
Yeah.
There will be temptation there, but we
So
should
I
want to
have
grow.
two caveats.
Yeah.
Um, Two caveats with being with that come with the increase of a church's size. Um, One has to do with basically the leadership structure of the church, and the other one has to do with the potential threats to the body. Um, First, with the structure of the church, it is possible to it's possible to grow too fast.
Okay.
Um, like we live in a small town that we've only been here for about 8 or 9 years, but if you talk to somebody who's been here for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, especially if they have family here, they'll tell you just like it seems like the town has doubled or tripled, in the last 2 decades. And our infrastructure, like our single lane roads, can't handle the volume. If there is we used to have a weekly flood alert, and there was one week where it went off when it wasn't supposed to, and what that would have indicated, if it was being accurate, was you have 13 minutes to vacate the town before it's flooded. And so everyone, a bunch of people didn't know whether it was real or not, but a lot of people tried to get out of town, and they found out that the roads were it got too congested, and we found out our road structure can't handle the volume of people we have living here. Um, in the same way, if as a church is growing, if you and this is some of the things I got from this guy, with relationships being so vital and so prevalent in smaller churches, and with the pastor typically, not that he wants to do it this way, but with the pastor typically having his hand in everything or almost everything, if that doesn't change as the church grows, and if he's still trying to shepherd and manage and lead a church of 200 the same way he was trying to lead a church of 50, not only is he going to get worn out, but some people are going to wonder, why doesn't he delegate some authority? Why doesn't he trust other people?
Yeah.
Why isn't he, so there are
That's a lot of
there are
wisdom there.
natural adaptations and changes that need to happen as the church grows. And if you don't do those, and you find out, I mean, think about what happened in Acts chapter 6. After Pentecost, thousands of people have flocked to the church, and as a result of the apostles thinking that they're supposed to be doing everything like good pastors are supposed to do, widows were being overlooked in the provision of food. So they had to make an adaptation. They made a structural modification. Um, that that was probably a better analogy than the whole town flooding thing. But um, so problems can encounter if you grow too fast and you're not adapting or prepared to meet the challenges that come with growth. The other so that was a caveat from a leadership point of view. With respect to the church body, this isn't necessarily deep, but with more people coming in, not all growth is good growth. As you have more people coming in, inevitably some of them are going to be problematic. Some of them are going to be false converts. Some of them are going to be divisive. I mean, these people showed up in the early church. Why wouldn't they show up now? And I can tell you they do. There are people who have come through our doors that, I mean, a part of me wishes I had never. I wish I had never seen them, but I realized that God brought them for a reason, and God used that to teach me something. But you know, uh, pastors and elders need to be aware of people as they come into the church, and the larger you get, the harder it is to practice that discernment without certainly without appearing to be domineering or micromanaging, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
I mean, like go back to that. Go back to the lady we have who came from a bigger church. She came to our little church not expecting to be noticed, and not anticipating a pastor to approach her and want to get to know her. There are people who like staying in the shadows, and that might be more a greater figure of speech than I intended it to be.
Yeah, no, that's really good what you've brought up. This has all been really helpful, and it, sometimes when you have a smaller church, it can be so. We get so excited when new people and new visitors come that sometimes you know if we're wrongly focused, our main concern can be do absolutely nothing to offend them. And we don't
Yep.
want to offend people. We want to welcome people. We want to
Well,
love
some
them.
people do.
Well, right. But we shouldn't want to. We
Right.
want to welcome people, but we also want to give them the truth and all the truth. And if there's a part of the truth that offends, um, you know, you can't shy away from the truth. And I think sometimes the temptation is, well, don't talk about this or that. It's going to drive people away. And it's like, no, if that's the passage we're talking about, we have to explain it rightly. Um,
Yeah.
so
At at the same time, I go back. I mean, I really like this book. Um, I go back to what he said. If God causes growth, great. If God change, this is Christ's church. He's promised to build it, and He's building it as He sees fit. And if He brings people and He transforms your fledgling little church of 25 people to a church of 250 over the course of 2 years, fantastic. But what Carl Vaders, makes an emphasis of is small churches don't do well when they try to become big. If the Lord's not in it and you're trying to make your church something that it's not, then that's not good. If you're envious of a big church and you're trying to force your church to grow, then it's when it's not natural good growth, then that's not good. Um,
that's good.
so
And
um,
any and all growth, we have to be careful to give Christ all the glory.
yep,
And maybe sometimes the pastor or the congregation isn't ready to handle growth. Um, Maybe they're not. They can't take it. They're not spiritually ready. God knows the timing.
yep,
Well, this has been a fantastic episode. I really hope that people in our area and people from our church, I'm sure people from our church will watch this, but I really pray this gets out because I've been very encouraged by this conversation. I hope that you'll share it over there. And it's been very helpful, and I hope we can have more conversations like this in the future. Anything else you want to say on this topic, brother, before we call it a night?
Yeah, just like I said and tried to say again, it's hard. Pastoral ministry is hard, and it feels like small church ministry is extra hard. But I have the conviction that it's worth it, and there's nothing else I'd rather do.
Wow.
I love my people. I love my small band of guys that I'm doing ministry with and I'm pouring myself into. There's nothing I'd rather do than be with them. I mean, maybe be with my wife, but but
I got you.
different. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can edit that out.
I do love it too. It's such an honor, and you've got to love it. You've got to love it for the tough days and the challenges. And
Yeah, and
number one,
I'm thankful to them. I'm thankful to my wife. I'm thankful. I'm thankful to other brothers like you. I mean, bro, I'm sure you can relate to how your appreciation for the profs we had who invested wisdom in us,
oh yeah,
and the appreciation you have for you know pastors who've gone before us, for other men who are in the trenches as well. Like you said, that you want this to be an encouragement to them. You want to encourage them because you love the good work that they're throwing themselves into. And I'm kind of getting jazzed up, and that's probably going to keep me up tonight. But
well that's
um,
well number one,
it's
keep your eyes fixed on Jesus. That's what we have to do. He's got to be our number one love. And hey, we're all the way on the other. We're both in the north, but you're in the west. I'm in the east. I mean, we are literally on opposite sides of the country. Isn't technology amazing?
Yeah, we just need to get a good Texan to join this podcast, and we could have like a trifecta.
Hmm. We'll think about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, brother, and thank you for tuning in to this episode of NFBC Today.